again. I thought I would do a little bit more about entertaining yourself while you're having rest days and stuff like that. And I've changed my look because I'm wearing a lot of the stuff that I've made. Because this part is going to be about learning new skills and particularly doing crafts. So when I had my thing at Christmas, I started sort of thinking about designs and stuff for jewellery, because eventually I want to open an Etsy thing, shop, whatever it's called. And I came up with this design for a bracelet. I love incorporating things like washers and nuts and bolts and stuff into sort of pretty things, because I think there's a balance between sort of like chunky metal and pretty things, and I would like to go into that market. So that's something that I've made, and that's really, really easy for me to make, and it's got like little homemade beads which I've done out of polymer clay, and again that's something that I can just do, and it's really simple. There are these wire rings, this pink one here, and that's with florist wire, so it's really soft, so it doesn't hurt to manoeuvre and stuff, and so that's really nice. And then I just painted dragon droppings, or whatever they're called, with nail varnish and put them on rings. I don't wear rings, but I make them. And then look, little mouse. So there's some of the things that I've done. I'm going to take these off now because I actually don't like wearing rings. Apart from my special ones, and I'm going to take this off as well. So there are some just simple examples of things that you can do, sort of small crafts that you can do. The other thing is I got a load of feathers, and these used to be earrings, and I've just made them into hair things, but this one I've done from scratch because I had a load of peacock feathers. And so I've put that on a chain and things. I think it looks quite funky. But, you know, you don't have to do that. But I'm just showing you things that I've done, which is it hasn't hurt my hands to do, because it's quite sort of gentle and simple to do it. Another thing that I've done is it's that time to, like, why don't you learn a new craft? There are so many sort of gentle crafts that you can do, like knitting. I can't knit to save my life. I think it's some kind of magic, because I can't do it. But my friend, who also has ME, she knits squares, and it's the thing that you know, you can do as many or as little as you like, but eventually she puts them all together and makes them into a blanket, and she does that for refugees and stuff, which I think is wonderful. And anything like that you can kind of give back to society is a good feeling, because it's like, otherwise we sometimes feel a bit useless. We're made to feel a bit useless because obviously we're not contributing, as it were, because of not being able to go out to work and stuff. But anyway, one of the new skills that I learned, I've always been quite crafty, but but one of the new things I've learned is needle felting, which I've mentioned before. It's quite sort of, you have to go like that a lot. But, you know, if you just pace yourself, it's fine. So here are some of the things that I've done with needle felting. It's a little bear and a little pussy. This is my favourite one. The cow. And so if I do needle felting things for you, they won't be this detailed. They'll be a lot smaller. But that's another thing, you know, doing crafts like that. Another thing that I do, and it's not craft, although I highly recommend any kind of like small craft thing like that. So cross stitch is probably a little bit painful, but needle felting is okay. Jewellery making's pretty easy. Like look at tutorials and stuff on YouTube or whatever, or design your own like I do. Polymer clay, that's another really sort of exciting one, because you can make homemade beads, or you can make things actually from scratch, like my little mouse here. And I've done other things. I've done dragons and whales and all sorts of things. And that's really fun, because you can make something relatively large or really, really small, and then you bake it, which is really good. And that's like a, I've made something kind of feeling. So that's quite nice. All sorts of things. I think get involved in crafts, because a lot of the time, I know before I was ill, I wanted to do all these like sewing and patchwork quilting and all this kind of thing, and it was just like, you don't have the time. Whereas, hey, when you've got ME, you've got a lot of time. That's something you haven't got a what's the word, a small amount of, whatever. The other things that I do is I play the guitar, but I'm going to talk to you about that in another video because something else is exciting has happened with that. Another thing I do is I look at words and try and find other words inside that. And I know people go, oh, it's boring, we used to do that at primary school type thing, but actually it's really sort of, it's stimulating for your brain, it's sort of feel a sense of achievement and stuff like that. So I have quite a lot of words written around in various places in the house, and I just sort of see how many other words I can find in that. That's quite fun. Doing that kind of thing is very good for sort of dexterity and things, and sort of keeping your brain coping with that. I do a crazy one which drives my sister nuts because she can't do it very well, but I've sort of, you go like that, and then you have to go like that, and then you go do, do, do. And it's actually really hard to do, go all the way around. And it's the thing that's keeping your fine motor skills tuned, but it's also, it's actually quite entertaining. Well, it is if you make it entertaining. Basically, I've been brought up, before I was ill, I've been brought up with the thing of you're not allowed to be bored. There are so many things to do, and entertain yourself and sing to yourself or tell yourself a story or whatever. So you're not allowed to be bored. So you just find things to do and enjoy it. And I will keep on telling you things as I remember them. Okay, lots of love. Bye!